This is enormous. I mean, I look at this and I think, 2005 Ashes, I think that's equivalent of as far as a spectacle is concerned. And as far as Indian wins are concerned, I think this is probably above anything else. And we've got a couple of groups of friends of mine who some are Indian, some are Kiwi, some are Australian, some are English. And I messaged and said, this is the greatest Test series win from an Indian point of view ever. And I think I can sort of think about that for a couple of reasons. Not only the fact that they were under the pump and depleted, but the fight that they've shown through this Test match. And I think if we look back at the Test side that started in Brisbane, maybe 4 players, if everyone was 100% fit, maybe 4 of those players start a Test match against Australia. And so that it tells me one or two things. It tells me the strength in depth in Indian cricket, but it also tells me the belief of what I see from young players coming through, whether it be IPL, whether it be India A programs. It's the belief in those guys that they can go out there and just play. And, I know Pudgy will go down and sort of as one of the stars of the series, over 200 deliveries for his 50. But the 2 guys that set that game and won that game were Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant, who are both under 23. And that is just a product of A cricket, but also the IPL. They walk into that stage in the IPL time and time again, whether a 30, 40, 50, in Shubman's case, 75, 80,000 people at Kolkata at Eden Gardens, and they have that pressure on them from the time they were 17, 18, 19, and they learn how to cope with it. And so that to me today was, as a New Zealander, I support New Zealand and anyone playing Australia.
On that note, Simon, honestly, did you troll your friends on WhatsApp, the Aussie guys? Did you do
Always.
that?
Absolutely. Especially the guys that were predicting 4-0 and 3-1. How, you underestimate India now at your peril, because they're producing cricketers time and time again and year after year that I don't say surprise you, but you're in awe of some of them. I saw Shubman in the Under-19 World Cup in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I was quite outspoken after that tournament about the fact, and there was a lot of comparisons. There was a lot of talk about Prithvi Shaw in that tournament. And I went on record and said, there is a lot of talk about Prithvi Shaw, but there is a better player than him in this team. And his name is Shubman Gill. And if you wanted to search it, you can find it. And I said, this kid will be a superstar. And I said, Prithvi Shaw has got technical deficiencies and issues, but Shubman Gill will be a superstar of the game. And, every now and then, and I think once in the last 20-something years, I've been right. And maybe that was the occasion.
From an Australian perspective, Simon, it's a huge loss. They have 3 pacers in the world's top 10 ranking in the current attack. They had to use, I think, just 13 odd players in the entire series, the Test series. They lost Gaba after 32 odd years. It's huge. It's a big loss. Do you think it's a loss worthy enough of some heads being rolling?
Look, I think the Australian side is probably, it has relied on some superstars. And I think we can all admit that Steve Smith will be one of the greats of the game of all time. Now, what has happened with Steve Smith, whether the ban and some of those things that I don't entirely agree with along the way, the fact that he was named in the ICC World Team of the Decade. If the ICC want to promote fair play and good cricket, then maybe Steve Smith shouldn't have been in that side. But his numbers stack up, and he will be one of the greats of the game. So I get that. Pat Cummins will probably be one of the greats of the game. Josh Hazlewood, I think, is one of the best seam bowlers going around the world at the moment. But you cannot win Test matches and series with 2, 3, 4 players. So those surrounding them have just not been up to the mark. And are they led well? No, I don't think they are. I don't think Tim Paine is a. I think Tim Paine is a nice captain, if I can put that in the right terms. He's the sort of guy that, after what happened in South Africa and after the turmoil that they went through with Sandpaper Gate and all those things, they needed a guy that had a squeaky clean persona and career, and so they found that in Tim Paine. But is he a leader? I don't know, and I don't think he leads that side or captains that side particularly well. So maybe heads will roll. Will they roll as soon as the South African series? Possibly not. But the winter might be the time for them to start to rebuild and change things a little bit.
All right. So